Hi everyone, and in today's video we'll be looking at the properties of bases or introduction to what bases are. So as we can see over here, that actually a base is actually any metal oxide or any metal hydroxide. So for example, we can see this magnesium hydroxide. Magnesium is a metal, so a metal hydroxide, so therefore this one is a base. Zinc is also a metal, so a metal oxide, so this one is also a base. Now, there are the definition of a base is basically a substance that reacts with an acid to form salt and water only. So any substance that reacts with an acid to form these two products only is a base. And most metal oxides and metal hydroxides will react with acids to form salt and water only. You may have recognized this reaction. This is actually the neutralization reaction. And since we have done this before, I'll just briefly go through the products over here. So what we can see over here is that metal hydroxide, which is a base because it's a metal hydroxide, reacts with sulfuric acid to form two products, a salt and water. So recalling what we have went through just now, sulfuric acid will always produce sulfate salts. So we can write the word sulfate first, and then we need to find the metal to put in the sulfate salt. And this metal comes from the metal hydroxide, which is magnesium. So this would be magnesium sulfate. So the name of the salt formed is magnesium sulfate. Let's try the next one. So we got zinc oxide, which is a metal oxide, a base, and it will react with the acid to form salt and water only. Now, what is the name of the salt? So over here, we have nitric acid, and all nitric acid reactions will form a nitrate salt. So zinc oxide with nitric acid will give me zinc nitrate. So over here, we have zinc nitrate. All right, so that's the definition of a base. It will form salt and water only. And the interesting thing about bases is that there's a special group of bases called alkali. Now, an alkali is a specific base, right, that is soluble in water. And over here, we can take a look that all bases are actually metal oxides and metal hydroxides. However, there are some special bases that will dissolve in water. So now, the definition of alkali is a substance that dissolves in water that produces hydroxide ion, which is your OH minus ion, in water. So this is very similar to the acid definition, right? Except that instead of hydrogen ions, now we have hydroxide ions, right? So the alkali is a very special type of base. So for example, we have sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is a soluble base, it's a soluble metal hydroxide, can dissolve in water to form hydroxide ions, NaOH. We also have calcium hydroxide, which is also known as lime water. And this is also an alkali because it can dissolve in water, right, to form hydroxide ion. And we also have things like potassium hydroxide, so KOH, and aqueous ammonia. So these are examples of soluble bases, which are also known as alkali. Now, there is another group of bases that are metal oxides and metal hydroxides that are not soluble in water. So these are just called bases. They don't have a special name called alkali. So for example, copper 2 oxide, which is a metal oxide, this is not soluble in water, so it's just a base. It's not an alkali. Right? Other examples would be like maybe, let's say, magnesium hydroxide. So magnesium hydroxide is a metal hydroxide, but it is not soluble in water. So it is actually just a base and not an alkali. Right? So this is what we need to know over here is that alkali is actually just a substance that can dissolve in water, and it produces hydroxide ions. And it's a type of base. Okay, so I hope that has been helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.